Hey roamers, not sure which RV type is the right type of RV for you?
On this episode, we're going to share with you the 10 reasons why we chose this Class A motorhome for our RV life. Hey roamers, I'm Jamie.
I'm Linda. This is Dexter.
And this is Roaming with Rosie. 3 months ago, we moved into this old Class A motorhome, which we call Rosie. Now, Rosie is a diesel pusher, so what that means, basically, that the diesel engine is in the back of the RV, pushing this old girl down the road.
We call our RV lifestyle location-independent living because our home and our office are wherever we want to be.
Yeah, and over the last 3 months, we spent about half of it boondocking or dry camping, however you want to call it.
That means no hookups, and that's because our RV is completely self-contained and all of our power is on board. The other half of those 3 months we have spent in RV parks.
We wavered on which RV was going to be right for our lifestyle. Like many of you, you've probably done all this before purchasing an RV.
Yeah, we came to understand also that even if we had an unlimited budget, but we don't, by the way, there is no perfect RV to fit all of our needs and wants, and probably not yours either.
And people ask us why, ultimately, we chose a Class A motorhome, especially an old diesel pusher.
Today we're going to share the 10 reasons why we made this decision.
All right, let's get started.
Number 10, more usable seating. So, Class A motorhomes over other motorhomes have the front two seats that generally will swivel around and recline, making it so that we have more available seating while we're camping.
Number 9, better built. Class A motorhomes are built on a more durable chassis. The chassis are similar to like a bus chassis where they can handle a lot more weight. Kind of like the Ford F-53 chassis.
And diesel pushers like Rosie are even more heavy duty. Usually companies like Freightliner, which is a truck manufacturer, build the chassis for these. It's a much higher standard than, say, your typical Class C motorhome.
Number 8, the views. You know how when you go to a movie theater and you watch it on that large screen and you feel like you're actually there? Well, that's what it's like when you're driving down the road in a Class A motorhome.
And when you're boondocking and not crammed into a space like in an RV park, this Alfa has spectacular views all around.
And most Class A motorhomes have more windows than like a travel trailer or a fifth wheel.
Yeah, or even Class C's.
Right. We know that when we're in this motorhome with all these windows, we can still see that we're in a great location.
Yep. Number 7, if you're traveling with pets, a Class A is often more comfortable for them. We can seatbelt Dexter onto the couch. From there he can see out all the windows, and he can also lay down or change position to get more comfortable.
And when we don't use the seatbelt, Dexter basically can sit in between us, or he can sit right in front of the AC, which he really likes, or he can also sit up and look out the windows, and he can also reach his water bowl as well.
Number 6, we also chose a Class A because we wanted to have 2 motorized vehicles. That way, if one breaks down, we have another vehicle that we can utilize.
If we have a breakdown and there's no cell signal, then we could take that other vehicle and drive to where we can actually get a cell signal or go and find some assistance.
Right, and that's not quite as difficult as it was 2 years ago, but there still are places where there is no cell signal. By the way, there is a lot of confusion about needing a special license to drive a Class A. It does vary from state to state.
The simple answer is it basically depends on which state your license is issued. In some states, it may be required for you to carry another endorsement for you able to drive a vehicle over 26,000 pounds.
We've provided a link down below in the description that lists the regulations for each state.
If driving an RV seems intimidating, FMCA offers classes on how to drive different types of RVs at most of their rallies. We're going to include a link down in the description for membership and also the scheduling.
FMCA is also our backup plan for moving the RV in case the main driver, Jamie, gets sick or injured and can't do it.
They will provide you assistance to relocate your RV in a qualified emergency, whether that's to a new place to set up camp, basically take it to your storage place, or to take it home.
Yeah, And we did a whole episode about all the benefits to FMCA, so we'll also have a link down below for that episode.
Number 5, the tote again. We really enjoy having a fuel-efficient vehicle to go out and explore, and also explore boondocking sites, especially with 4 wheels down. That way we're not required to have a tow dolly or a trailer.
And so we'll frequently stop and we'll park the RV, we'll unhook the car, and we'll go out and we'll try to find a nice level spot. We'll find out what's the best route to get there and get out, because when you have a big rig like this, you got to make sure before you get to the last moment that you know you're going to be able to get it in and out of there safely.
If we had a big truck and a 40-foot trailer, we'd be about 60 feet long. Having a Class A and towing it 4 wheels down without a trailer means we can fit in some smaller camping spots.
Which also translates to a lower cost for those spots, and also an easier chance of finding it, because the smaller you are, the more different types of spaces that you can fit in. And I just made a reservation at an RV park, and the motorhome spots were 50 feet long. If we had had a tow dolly or a car hauler, we would have had to pay like 20% more for a larger spot.
Yeah, and if your only vehicle is the big truck that tows your RV around, it probably doesn't get the best gas mileage. Our 10-year-old Honda gets 35 miles per gallon.
And we typically will stay in an area for 3 to 4 weeks, especially when we're boondocking, which allows us to set up the RV. We can usually stay for at least 14 days. Sometimes we dump the tanks and fill up with water, but otherwise Rosie stays stationary, and we use the Honda to go around and explore the area we're in.
This is a big cost saver, and we really get to know and explore the place where we're camping and find all those hidden gems. And it also takes a lot of stress off because we're not constantly moving.
A motorhome is often easier to back in, level up, and set up, especially if you have auto leveling, which this old rig doesn't have, but still it only takes us about 15 minutes to set it up.
And it's also easy to leave in case of an emergency. It would take basically the 2 of us to get it done in about 5 to 10 minutes.
In a Class A, we have access to almost all of the interior, although we don't advise you to get up and roam around your RV while you're in motion. Once you find a place to park, just to pull over, you can pretty much access the refrigerator, the bathroom, or even take a rest if you wanted to.
And most Class A motorhomes don't require you to open the slides to be able to access everything. Now Rosie 2 isn't quite slide friendly because of the deep slide, but we're still able to access the kitchen, use the restroom, and also sleep in the RV without opening the slides.
Which is especially good if you're wally docking in a Walmart parking lot. They generally, if they allow you to stay there at all, don't want you to set up camp.
And fifth wheels usually have a fridge in the slide, so when the slides are in, it's hard to, or almost impossible, to access the fridge, maybe cook anything, access the microwave, or maybe even the pantry.
Yeah, and I do see that this is changing in some fifth wheels, but pretty much that was the standard up till now.
Number 2, other advantages to a Class A motorhome versus, say, other motorhomes like a Class C. Class A's typically have more storage. We have these large storage bays, which are sometimes referred to as the basement.
And that's a lot more stuff you can take with you. And usually they have slide-out trays for ease of access. The newer Class A's, a lot of them, have that storage bay attached to the slide, so you don't even have to squat down underneath it to open them anymore.
And we have a large interior closet, and we also have a lot of cupboards. The other thing that we have here, because of the size of Rosie, is we also have a residential fridge.
Yay, that's my favorite. So, what's the number one reason we chose a Class A? The number one reason that we chose a Class A over any other type of RV is budget. Doesn't money always become the reason for your choices?
Yeah, we had an all-in budget for our RV of $50,000. Now, there are a lot of well-built coaches that are built prior to 2008 that are all within that price range.
Yes, there is. And if we wanted to have the same living space in a fifth wheel and buying a truck to tow it, we would have been at the minimum at $70,000. A lot of our friends who have that setup have invested well over $100,000. Lately, it seems like a lot of RVs, especially fifth wheels and bumper tows, are made so much flimsier than the way they used to build these old Class A's.
So these are the reasons we chose a Class A motorhome. Now, if we had found a Class A motorhome that was, say, under 35 feet, we might have gone with that, but when you're buying used, you kind of got to deal with what's available.
We're going to add a few more points to help you decide on what RV might be best for you. So if we had to decide on a different type of RV right now, what would it be and why?
Our second choice would be a fifth wheel and a truck. What we would like would be a large toy hauler. That way we could have a separate vehicle that we could actually park in the garage, say like a smart car, and we could also utilize that garage for, say, guests to sleep, and also office space, and also have a deck.
And really, for me, the only reason I would want a different RV at this point is because I love that idea of that patio deck. We could find it in a Class A, though, maybe right now, right?
There was one when we were in Magnolia Beach that had one. Now, I didn't get to see what the interior setup was like. When I've seen the fifth wheel ones, they're laid out pretty well. But as far as the motorhome, we've never seen one, so we don't know.
I think we did, because we went to that RV show in Scottsdale, and they had one there. That was the first time we've ever seen it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but a newer one, you're talking like 300 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another benefit of having a truck and a trailer is that if your truck breaks down, you could probably stay in your trailer, even though you might have to have some help moving it to a different location where you can stay, but then you wouldn't need to stay in a hotel.
But no matter what kind of RV you have, a lot of the repair shops will work on the RV in the bay, and then in the evening they'll pull it out so you can sleep in it in the evening, and then pull it back into the repair bay to complete the repairs.
We do like the hominess of the fifth wheel. We like a lot of the center island and all the seating that's available for guests. With the toy hauler, you get that extra room you can use for office space, guests. Sometimes they even have a separate bathroom, and they also have a patio.
And we've already talked about the patio.
I would like a patio.
Now, if we're talking about traveling with kids, when you're in a Class A motorhome, when you go to seatbelt up your kids, they're usually going to be sitting on a sofa behind the driver. And what that means is they're going to be facing the side of the coach instead of facing forward.
RV seatbelt laws also vary from state to state. Regardless of that, you probably want your family to be as safe as possible. To make your motorhome passenger seatbelt safer, you could hire someone to install more rugged seatbelts and more rugged seating.
Ultimately, there is no perfect RV for every situation. You basically have to weigh the pros and cons of how you plan to live your RV lifestyle and your budget, add those up, and figure out which one is going to be best for you.
Hey roamers, we've got some exciting news. Thanks to you, this channel has gotten big enough to be able to have our own Amazon storefront.
You can find some of the products and equipment we use and recommend on our episodes. Plus, you can support Roaming with Rosie. Simply do any of your everyday Amazon shopping from our store link.
We only recommend specific products we use and approve of, as participants in the Amazon Associates program, as well as other affiliate partnership programs.
Sometimes we do earn small commission when you purchase using our links or codes found in the description of our videos.
And we're also able to share with you any deals or discounts through those links. We are thankful for each and every one of you for watching, and also for sharing this channel with your friends and family.
And if you're not yet a subscriber to Roaming with Rosie, make sure and hit that subscribe button.
And ring that bell so you'll be notified each time we upload a new video.
And make sure to leave a comment, that way you can be part of the conversation.
Until next time.
See ya.
See ya.